how to implement an email newsletter. Hi, and welcome again to another episode of Tech Help for Churches. This is the show where every week we talk about using the internet, web, new media, social media, etc. for your church. My name is Paul Allen Clifford and I'm your host. I'd love for you to join the conversation, by the way. So either leave a comment directly below the video if you're watching the video, and you don't have to be. If you're listening to the audio, perfectly acceptable to drop me a line on Twitter. Paul Allen Cliff, PaulAlanclif. That's cool. Or you can drop me a line on email, paul@trinitydigitalmedia.com. Okay, so last week we talked all about why I think that you should use email to create your church's newsletter. Why the website may not be ideal. Social media might be less than perfect. New media, while I'm a fan of it, just isn't as effective as email. So if you missed that, go back last week and take a listen. Now, you might be thinking, well, okay, how do I do this? I seem to recall there used to be a thing called a listserv. Is that what I do? I bet that's some script I'll have the web guy install on our website, and it'll be great that someone will just, you send an email with subscribe in the subject. Yeah, it's a little antiquated. I wouldn't recommend that at all. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to open up an email, and I'm going to paste all the email addresses of everyone in the church in the blind carbon copy field, because I'm techie, and I know that if I put it in the other one, everyone will be able to reply to everybody else, and if someone says, hey, thanks, I got it, everybody sees the, hey, thanks, I got. Well, that's okay, but you're going to have a few problems. So let me tell you what I would recommend, and we can go from there. First off, I suggest you use an email service provider. For most churches, you can get a free account from MailChimp, and this will do everything that you need. Remember, most churches are well under 2,000 people in membership. Guess how many email addresses you can have for free in MailChimp? 2,000. But how many newsletters could you send out with that? Well, you could send out one a week, 4 times a month, and have some left over to a list of 2,000. So I think it's like 12 or 15,000 emails that you can send out to your list of 2,000 people. So it's actually more than you're going to use. So free. I have a friend who says, if it's free, it's for me. Free and perfect for most churches. Now, you might be thinking, well, using a third-party service, that's just so complicated. Why would I? Well, let's start with deliverability. If you send just a blank carbon copy to a couple of hundred email addresses, there's a pretty good chance that some of those are going to notice how many emails it's being sent to, and they're going to say, oh, this is spam, and they're not going to let it get through to your people. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is your email service provider It's probably through your website, but it might be through the denomination or something else. Your email service provider might see that you're sending that many and say, ah, this is spam, and flag your account. So that could be a problem as well. But really, you don't have the power that I'm used to. And here, let me tell you, so MailChimp is what I use, and it has some abilities that could be very helpful in your ministry. Let's start with segmentation. Now, for me, I segment based on what people are interested in. So if you're interested in video, I kind of put you in the video list. If you're interested in ProPresenter, I put you in the ProPresenter list. If you're interested in social media, I put you in the social media list. And while I send some to everybody, I also send specific ones to specific people. Now, is your mind turning yet? Are you thinking, wait, that sounds like age group ministries. I could have a list of everyone in the church, and then I could have like subgroups, like one for the kids, one for the elementary school even, one for the preschool, one for the youth, one for the senior adults. And we could send stuff specific to each of them. Yes, yes you could. And that's the power of segmentation, and it's really easy to do. So that's one piece of the puzzle. I've already touched on delivery rates. These companies like MailChimp, Aweber, Constant Contact, etc., they specialize in getting their emails to the recipients. So they've worked things out with email service providers, they've been whitelisted, things like that that just, quite frankly, you can't easily do on your own. And third, they've got tracking. Have you ever sent an email and you're not quite sure whether everyone got it or not? Whether they even read it? Did they even click the links that you sent? Well, you can actually find that out. So you have a lot of power with this. Depending on which one you go with, it can be as little as free or as much as just a few dollars a month, for most churches at least. And it gives you a lot of power. Heck, with some of the services that have premium levels, like you could start with the free MailChimp, and if you liked it, you could upgrade to the paid for account and get what are called autoresponders. So you could have everyone that joins the church and gets their name on the email address, they automatically get a series of emails from the pastor telling them about the history of the church, telling them ways to get involved. The same sort of things that maybe members that have been there for a decade don't need to know, but that new people would want to know to get them up to speed really quickly. So there's really a lot of power there. And that's why I recommend using an email service provider. Now, it's still like sending an email. It's not that much harder, but it has some distinct advantages. And I hope that you'll use those as you're going out and changing eternity. If you like this content, don't hesitate to subscribe to my email newsletter. It's over at trinitydigitalmedia.com/gifts, GIFTS. And there you can get a copy of my Twitter book or my video course or my ProPresenter top 5 tips. And it's something that I send out free tips and hints every week using MailChimp. And I don't get paid by them, by the way. That's just something that I do personally. So I hope you'll do that. And until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford with TrinityDigitalMedia.com.